Good afternoon. Welcome to another episode of the Sunday Spin. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Floppy Hat Day. This week and every week, Sunday Spin's brought to you by our fine sponsors. That's Grooves Records in San Francisco, USA, our friend Kevin Chanel, and of course, the wonderful Ostro Brothers in the 719 Colorado Springs. That's What Left Records. As always, I'm joined by my right-hand man. He's the host of the popular Greno's Groove Yard on KCOS Digital Media. Do not miss it on Monday afternoons. My man, Greno. Greno, great to see you, brother. How you doing today?
Happy Mother's Day to you, Vin.
Thank you, sir, and happy Floppy Hat Day to you.
Exactly, man. No, I wouldn't think of a better place to be at 5 p.m. Mountain Time right now with you. And it's been a wonderful day. I got to spend some time with family. And an important moment, too. Hope pulled out the Bob Dylan records for my youngest. So she's already a fan. So it wasn't like, so yeah, it was a big, a little emotional for Pop. You guys know how rock and roll is. So yeah, man, just having a wonderful day, enjoying the sunshine here in Colorado. Went for a killer walk. And man, I am just so excited about our guest today, Vinny.
Yeah, absolutely. And with bated breath, tell us all about him.
Oh, man, this guy, Mr. Jessie Wickman. We go back, I would say 3-4 decades now. Met him in the early 90s in a wonderful band called Nuisance. And just an extraordinary drummer, very creative, and just a great human being to boot. And let's bring him in, man, without further ado, my man, Jessie Wickman.
Hey!
Jessie, how are you, man?
How you doing? I'm great, Glenn. Great to see you, Vinny. Everybody.
Thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it too.
Yeah, and we caught some wind that maybe we might be having another special guest on for at some point to make an appearance.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Who would that be?
Yeah, stay tuned to find out.
Oh, my mom? That's Sarah, my mom, Sarah.
How you guys doing?
Happy Mother's Day to you. Are you enjoying your day?
I am. Yes, he's a great chef.
Oh, fabulous. What's on the menu?
Seared ahi, tuna, and salad. But it's marinated and it's marinating now. So we'll eat it after we're done here.
Sesame seed crusted,
Wow.
It's gonna be tasty. Great. There's a great seafood place here in Santa Rosa that we get all our stuff from, so love it.
Well, listen, Jessie, while we have Mom here, we always like to ask this question, and it being a special day, I'm going to flat out ask Mom, do you have a first musical memory concerning Jessie? We always like to ask our guests, but since you're here, we've never had that from a mother's perspective. So if you wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
Memory.
Well, I don't know what grade you were in when you brought the saxophone home.
Oh, like second grade or third grade?
Yeah, and he brought a saxophone home.
Oh, no.
And started playing that, and I really loved it. But actually, with his drumming, when he was around 8, I had some musician friends who had a recording studio. So we used to go there every Sunday and have breakfast from the owner of it, and who was a drummer.
What was it called?
And
Solar Taco?
Solar Tip in Blue Lake, California, up in Humboldt County. And Jessie started getting into the drums then, and Jeff, the owner of it, he had this big blue house in downtown Blue Lake, this little town, and Jessie on his way home from school would stop by and visit Jeff and get behind his big, huge drum set. And
double bass,
Yeah, it was really cool. So that was the beginning of his
that was pretty much it,
yeah.
Yep.
And Jeff was an extraordinary drummer. He's gone now, but
R.I.P.
Yeah.
But he played in a bunch of bands, and
oh yeah.
Well, yeah, he had a great, awesome old school drum set. I looked like a little, like a squirrel behind it. It's tiny.
Yeah.
But to this day, I still don't play double bass. I still have no idea how to play double bass.
And then in high school, I had a neighbor who was going to Mexico and lent he said Jessie was
In high school.
and not
13.
getting in trouble and stuff like that.
Smoking the
And my
weed.
neighbor said, "Hey, I'm going to Mexico. Jessie can take care of the drum set if he does good in school. Take it away from him if he's not." And so we set up our kitchen as the jam room, and his band.
Our punk rock metal bands just destroyed her kitchen.
Took over the kitchen. They didn't destroy it, but there were instruments and chords and all that stuff, and a lot of heavy metal and stuff.
Yeah, and Glenn, you'd appreciate it. Was one of those chrome Ludwig sets.
Oh yeah,
Super shiny.
yeah.
It had like eight toms, 2 bass drums, and 12,000 cymbals. I didn't know what the hell I was doing.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
couldn't think of a better way for a
remember this.
13-year-old to be coerced to, behave himself.
Yeah. And we were
Shining in his face, right?
and we were in Arcata, so pot was very prevalent for me. So, it was in the 80s.
I said no. I had a big sign, no smoking inside. So it didn't say inside, but I knew that's all the power I had.
And the big thing was she didn't want us to drink. And I just remember the one time we were jamming and we had a 40-ouncer of Mickey sitting on top of the bass amp. And of course, it rumbled right off that bass cabinet, spilled all over the floor. Woo! Luckily, she never found out about that.
That's new to me. I just found out about it now.
It's always that one time.
Never did it again.
But I've always supported his music, and I think he is an extraordinary drummer. And,
Thank you.
Yes, and it always takes really, understanding parents, especially for drummers, because my parents, same thing, like they really put up with a lot for a long time, and so kudos to you, Mom. That's a wonderful thing, and I can tell you guys are close, and it's great that you're able to spend time together on this special day and spend time with us on the Sunday stage.
I know. It's awesome.
Yeah. This is cool. I didn't know this was happening until
I
got here.
I told her when I got here today.
Hey, that's showbiz, though.
That's right. Okay, we got this thing we got to do.
Yeah, you guys are.
Damn, I'm sure Jessie does these every Sunday.
Oh, shit. This is the first one I've ever done. First one I've ever done, guys.
Come on.
Well,
It's a season
Jeff,
pro, Greno.
to come full circle for folks that saw earlier shows, we had one of your bandmates on,
Right.
One of my favorite bass players of all time.
Absolutely.
And thank you so much for spending time with us.
Her name's Sarah.
Thank you.
Thank
Enjoy
you.
your meal. So, but Jessie, one of the things I was curious about, and we didn't really learn of it until we had Kyle on the show. But we were, again, back in the day with Nuisance and the bands I was in, we were always side by side and enjoying and loving what you guys had done, and really looked up to you guys from the beginning. But I want to talk a little bit more about recent history and this reunion you guys did.
Ooh.
And how, I wish I could have been there or gotten Kevin White and a bunch of people reached out and said, Glenn, you would have loved, I'm in Colorado and I don't really travel much, but
Sure.
talk about how that came about for folks and what it was like just being Nuisance again.
Oh, man. It had been 23 years
I know.
that we played together in the same room. I mean, we've all stayed in touch together, We've all been friends. And I played in a band with Kylie, different bands with him and Johanna and Triple Crown and a couple different things over the years. But I never thought it was going to happen. Because it just seemed like Andy didn't want to do it. And didn't seem like Kylie was into it. But there's these things here at the Phoenix Theater called Nostalgia Fest. I don't know if you know Nostalgia Fest. And they tried to get us every single year. And it went on for years. And Kylie and Andy said no. No. And this one, the Look At Him reunion thing, I guess that just appealed to Kylie and Andy. And we did it. We rehearsed 2 times and picked a handful of songs, and it was absolutely fantastic. All these people from Santa Rosa came. A bunch of our friends made T-shirts. It just felt so good to be on stage with those dudes again. It was really fun. We play a little bit differently now. We're all a lot older, and and I definitely don't play as hard as I used to, and Kylie doesn't play as hard as he used to, and so we kind of had to readjust to playing some punk rock. It was really fun.
So awesome, man.
It was just great. And then right after that, we got asked to open for Jawbreaker, 6 months later, which was their first time playing in 16 years as well. And that was with Monsula, Nuisance, and Jawbreaker at the Rickshaw stop in San Francisco. Killer sound in there. That place sounds fantastic. But that was just amazing. I just couldn't believe it. I thought we were going to continue, but doesn't sound like anybody really wants to continue.
Well, the thing is, Jesse, we hear these stories all the time about bands that have been broken up 15 years, 20 years, 25 years, 30 years in some cases, across the board. And it's never a story that gets tiring, because each story is such a beautiful event in itself. And I'm so glad that you got to, experience it.
Yeah.
The thing that's been really beautiful, though, is the vitality that these people are progressing. It's not a one and done event,
right?
It hasn't been, and I don't think that's going to change for you guys either.
I hope not. I mean, we just had our Confusion Hill just reissued.
Yeah.
On Lava Socks Records, and I was thinking, oh, this is the perfect
music right
now. And I was thinking this would be the perfect opportunity to do a week tour here and there, and then all of a sudden Jawbreaker comes out with this big tour, and I'm going, damn, that would have been fun to jump on one of those shows, but I don't know. I just don't know where it's going. And Andy's band is awesome. Smokers. Have you heard of his band? Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, they're called Smokers. They're super good.
Check them out, for sure.
And Trouble Cuts with Kylie, the killer band.
Yeah, Trouble Cuts, yeah.
I know. I love all those guys, so.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so cool. Yeah, and the rock and roll revivalism that Vinny and I have seen so much in recent history, it's really inspiring, and I think, honestly, too, for a lot of young people, and it's great. And speaking of young people, I'd like to segue just a little bit, Jesse, because, you teach drums.
I do.
And that's really unique and awesome and cool. And so we'd like to know how that came about, and kind of, what you get out of it just from, teaching and instructing, something that you just love and comes so naturally for you.
I do love it, actually. It's kind of crazy because I never thought about being a drum instructor. I was like, I always heard that, if you teach, that means you don't play, or teachers don't play. It's like they chose teaching because they don't play music live and da-da-da-da. And I always hated that term, and I'm like, wait a second, I can change that. But it just kind of came about one day. I was working, doing espresso machine technician work, which I loved. And I ended up leaving that place, and I went, wait a second here. What is my best skill that I have and Oh, I'm a drummer. And so I put out a flyer, $25 hour lessons, and grabbed a couple students. I was driving to people's houses and all that stuff. And then I eventually landed at Stanroy Music Center, which is still around, by the way. Remember Stanroy? Yeah, 60-something years. And my good buddy Dustin owns it now, too. So that's where I'm back teaching now. But it just felt really good. And when I was at Stanroy, I was there for about 6 years, and I had about 35 students a week. That's half-hour students, not hours. So, that's a lot of students. Yeah. I was trying to get to there's a guitar teacher there. He has 100 students a week. And I'm like, okay, way too much for me. Way too much. Because then you get to that point where you actually don't gig. You're just burnt out on playing, And that happened, huh?
No, absolutely.
Yeah. And then I ended up leaving Stanroy and opening up my own recording studio and started teaching out of there. And I had about half the amount of students, but I was also recording. And then one summer, one of my students came to me and said that she did a school of rock thing over the summer. Not like the big corporate one, but one in Sebastopol by this dude, I can't remember, Burroughs. But I said, what are you talking about? I've never heard of such a thing. A rock camp? What? And she told me about it. I started looking it up, found all kinds of information. And that summer, I said, you're never going back to that one, Spencer Burroughs Rock Camp. You're coming to mine because you're my student, right? And I just created a curriculum, and I started this rock camp, and I did it for about 8 years, every summer. And that was the most rewarding thing because I started that in about 2007. And it ended about 2014 after the city condemned my building, which was the only reason it stopped. And I have students that are now in their late 20s, touring Europe, teaching themselves, their teachers now. And they always write to me and tell me how much influence I gave to them. And that's the reason that they stayed doing it. Parents, it's just so rewarding. It's like... it makes me feel good. Even if I were like on a deathbed, just like, I'd be like, that was life. That was the best, It feels so good. All these metal drummers, like surpassed me, like totally, like I cannot play that grindcore double bass, and I'm like, you're a way better drummer than I am now, But it just feels so good, and I got to do what I love. And I always loved kids. Before I had my own, which I have a 21-year-old now. But but I always loved kids, so it was just a perfect setup, And it was great. And then I'm back doing it. I stopped teaching for a long time because I really needed to make money, as we all do. Got a regular job, did all that crap, and I'm back doing it, back at Stan Roy's. I just got hired at a new music school that's in Santa Rosa called, what's it called? Art and Soul. It's like they do art, dance, and music. And so they hired me to be their drum instructor, and then they're starting a rock program so I can instruct the rock bands. And that'll be part-time along with the teaching at Stan Roy. And back to doing exactly what I want to do.
Congratulations, Jesse. That's wonderful news, man.
It's tough, and it's not easy. I moved to Seattle for about 6 months. Tried to change something. I lived in Santa Rosa for 32 years, and I said, my son's 21. I'm gonna go check something else out. Too damn cold for me. I don't know how you do the cold, Glenn, but man, woo!
I don't.
You don't, right? So
I moved back north even in December.
You are?
They're like California boy out here, yeah.
Exactly. That's what I was like. Yeah, I'm too much California, so I went back to, that's like, isn't that like a Soundgarden song? California! Or whatever. I don't know. But yeah, and then I get back and, contact a Stan Roy, and they offered me a room to teach out of, and here we go. Pretty stoked.
Well, yeah, it's so important for my eyes when you have the talent, the success, whatever you want to call it. I think we have a responsibility to pass that on.
Yeah.
And it's only the most rewarding of souls that the truly blessed that get the opportunity to do it.
Huh.
Never mind the stage.
Right.
But, you brought up something that's somewhere down the road. That passing on has a vindication.
Yeah.
There's no better feeling in the world.
Absolutely. It feels so good.
Yeah. I've taught guitar and like I'm no virtuoso, so I probably shouldn't even be teaching guitar. It's just the same. There's so much more involved with that, being asked and trying to pass on the do's and the don'ts, but what you've learned as well and the passion that's involved with it.
And just the relationships you create with these kids, it's they'll never forget it ever.
Yeah. And neither will you, Jesse, and that's another thing, right?
Absolutely.
You're never going to forget it.
I will never forget it. Yeah, I just love when I get I just got a message from a kid the other day, and he's like, just want to thank you. I've just started my own recording studio. You taught me so much about recording because I was part of the curriculum in the School of Rock that I had. You know, we would do a music video, and then we'd play concerts at the end of the week, and then the Phoenix Theater at the end of the summer would let me use the theater for free, and so I'd have about 6 bands. You know, Tom is the best. You know, and it's just so fun. I just love it. Yeah, thank you. That's cool.
Well, and especially now with the curriculums changing in public school systems.
Right.
I don't know about you guys, but I was taught music in school.
Right.
By some very good teachers, and to this day, I'm grateful for that.
Yep.
It's something that's lacking. And when people like yourself, Jesse, go the extra mile and throw out that artistic helping hand, if you will, you learn so much from music that has nothing to do with dots, or it's about feeling and art.
Yeah.
And the younger the better, I always say. Now, what would you say the average age of your students are, Jesse?
Well, I have about 7 students now, and the youngest is 6, and then the oldest that I have right now, actually, the oldest I have is my age, 51, and that would be him, which you know who it is, Glenn, I'm sure, Kevin McCracken.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I see him every other week or every once in a while, you know? Yeah, and then, that's pretty extreme, and then like a 16-year-old, you know? So, you know, not 6 to 51 out of 52, whatever he is.
Well, and I want to ask you one more question, if I may. Do you find teaching the children more difficult than the adults? Because I had a hell of a time teaching adults how to play guitar. It was so much easier for me with the kids. Maybe because I relate, maybe because I'm a kid at heart, but maybe also it's because we become structured at a certain point in our lives.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to change.
It has a lot to do with it.
Yeah.
I love your views.
Honestly, I think I love teaching people my age. A lot of the times the lessons end up being a lot of discussion and, rather than a lot of playing. The children is fun. It's fun, but I get to work on my straight chops, like doing one and so I get a lot of stuff out of it myself. I think it's more difficult to teach the kids because kids are kind of all over the place in their own life. They got soccer practice and baseball and all their homework, and and it depends on if the parents are super supportive or not. And
right,
so
variables.
Yeah, I love teaching adults. It's way fun because then I get to teach. Usually the adults are, they've been playing for a while, so they understand how to play. So I don't have to talk about how to hold your drumsticks, things like that. It's like they got their style. And then I get to teach some more advanced stuff, which I love teaching the advanced stuff. I have fun playing it myself, so I love it. Yeah, kids are hard, but I don't know. They're only usually 30 minutes. The adults are usually an hour. So, and the hour goes by super fast. And 30 minutes is not very long, but for a 6 and 9-year-old, 30 minutes is quite enough. So I don't know. I like them both, but I think it's harder for the kids. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a great answer.
Thanks.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Thanks for joining us, man.
Yeah. It is. It's really cool. So, what do you guys play in a band together, or what's your deal?
Yeah.
You do?
We've got an intercontinental group called the Skinny Mulligans.
Oh, okay. I see.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
Yep.
That's great.
We work via satellite, and it's a lot of fun. We've been doing it for years together, and kind of coalesced finally into a full-length album.
Oh, great!
Last year called 1966, and thanks for asking, Jesse.
Yeah,
I'd like to exchange some music, man. We'll get emails and stuff and addresses, and we'll make sure we get you hooked up. And speaking of recording, you've recorded with a lot of my cohorts. from after I had left Sonoma County.
Yeah.
Eric Brittenham.
Oh, yeah.
Adam Alcorn.
Yeah.
And Eric Cullen. So let's start with Eric. What was it like playing on Eric's record? Which, by the way, I love your drumming on that.
Oh, thank you. He's great, dude. That guy is just so cool. I just love him. You know, I wasn't really expecting to play drums on that stuff, but I think something happened where like his drummer came in who was maybe, I don't know, I don't want to say anything bad, but it just wasn't working out at the time. It didn't seem like, and so I mean, it's my studio. I got my kit right here. Let's try it, and it was pretty fun. He writes some interesting, cool music. You know, it's not. Yeah, he's a great singer. He's a great piano player.
Very gifted musician. Very talented.
He is. Yeah, that was fun. And then, you know, playing with Eric and it was and Adam. I've never played with them, you know, obviously, and that was super fun. We played quite a few shows together, and with Adam and stuff. And I don't know where those guys are. Aren't they like in Costa Rica or something, or stuck in somewhere?
They're you mean
Eric
and his wife? No, they're back. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I just got
there was some COVID related reasons. They were like stuck during COVID overseas. They've been back for a while.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and then Adam, man, he's plugging away. He's got his Stumbling for Miles, I think is the name of the band now.
Right, and it's
I think they just recorded recently too. So for the first time, interestingly enough. But shout out to them. I want to do another quick shout out to our friend. We'll see right here.
Hey, Nikki! Yeah. Oh, Tank Girl. Look I got a Tank Girl tattoo, baby. Woo!
There you go. Yeah, the wonderful singer of the kick-ass band called Wabash Cannons.
Yeah.
He's going to be doing some field work for the Sunday Spin. So, it'll be our Girl Friday.
Nice to
and
see
then
you.
Another shout out and love from our good friend Tony Russo. Happy Mother's Day, boys. Tony, same to you. Absolutely. Yeah. So nothing but love on the spin.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you rocking these days? What kind of drum kit?
Yamaha, Absolute Birch Custom.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I bought one about 20 years ago, and I got addicted to the birch sound. And I did, unfortunately, get all my Constantinople cymbals stolen when I lived in Tacoma. Yeah, so I had to. Yeah, it was a rough one. I've had those for like 25 years. That was a rough one. But I scored these Buddy Rich prototypes. They're just amazing. And I'm playing in this Melvin's kind of metal band right now with my little four-piece and my Buddy Rich cymbals, and we're called Goat Thieves. You can look us up on Bandcamp and Spotify and all that good stuff. But Goat Thieves, it's like these dudes are like 30 years old and they're like got the 50-year-old washed up drummer, and I'm like struggling, but it is so fun. Oh my goodness, everything is just like slower than slow, you know. And
awesome.
Just tuned down to C, and it's like, you know, the Sesame Street vocals, you know, the Cookie Monster vocals and shit. It's great.
Well, Jesse, you're far from washed up, my friend. You're a wonderful drummer, and I remember a key turning point. I was at the first gig you ever did with Nuisance, and remember it was at that dude's house, Carl. I told Kyle this too. I even have video footage, but I remember when you guys did Sun God that night at that party, people were just looking around because, you know, the first time you guys were a three-piece, new drummer, you know, some different, new, interesting covers.
Right.
And man, that was captivating, my brother. Thanks so much. I mean, Nuisance is a precious band to me, and to so many other people. And I just want to thank you guys. And it's given me an idea. I would love to, nothing against Andy, we'd love to have a reunion on the show, but next time I want you and Kyle on.
Okay.
We're gonna do a rhythm sections thing.
Let's do it.
We have so many killer rhythm section drummers and bass players that have worked together, and you guys are going to be our first, man.
Let's do it. I got to see Kylie.
Dynamic.
Yeah. Yeah, Kylie is so great. And, yeah, I love that. I loved your episode with him. I love that. He's like, I didn't even think anybody still liked nuisance. You know, he's so humble about it. It's like, come on, man.
Very humble. Very humble.
Very cool, though.
Yeah.
So.
Well, Jess, we don't want to take too much of your time, but as always, we want to give you an opportunity to do any shout outs. I know you've given a lot of love throughout the show because you're such an awesome dude and you care about other people so much. But let's just, any other people, again, shout out to your mom. Thank you so much for spending time with us. But we just want to give you an opportunity, at the end of the show here to kind of do some shout outs and let, you don't have to, don't worry about leaving anybody out. Everybody gets left out at some point. But I got to shout out to Vinny, man.
I mean, I just miss everybody from back in the day at Sonoma State and everything, and those were some great times at the Becky Court. Jumping off the roof and into the pool and taking mescaline and some good times. Everybody is so great. I don't really know what else to say about that, but
no, so much fun. It was such a great time to. And that the fact that so much of us are connected through our music and our bands, still are. That's that's the essence of our show on Sunday Spin. It's
perfect.
Simply, people still doing music, still into it, and man, you're one of the many. And so, man, keep it going. We want to hear more things about your band, and man, we're super excited to spend some time with you and Kyle in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great. Set it up. I'm there.
Talk nuts and bolts, right, Vinny?
Absolutely. And take great pride in the fact that you're passing it on to the next generation and perhaps the generation after that.
Absolutely.
And I applaud that very much so, Jesse. It says a lot about you.
Cool. Thanks, Vinny. It's nice meeting you, man.
You bet.
Yeah. Go Thieves!
There you go.
Exactly. There's a quick story behind that. You want to know what the name is?
Absolutely, we do. Our minds need to know.
Well, so I moved into this ranch in Santa Rosa, and 2 hours later, after I was there, first off, there was a big, huge goat pasture at these Hispanic dudes sold goats at. Random, I've never seen anything like that before. But 2 hours after I was there, he comes up to me and asks me if I've seen anybody steal 40 goats. I said, what? Somebody stole 40 goats? And they hauled him into some dude pulled up with a truck and got him into the truck, and he stole the goats. But then the next day, they found the guy and got all the goats back. And I said, as a joke, Goat Thieves would be a good name for a metal band. And then my friend came up to me and said, let's start a metal band. And he was into the Goat Thieves thing, so yay!
And now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah,
right?
now it's
so everybody go to Bandcamp. Definitely check it out.
Sweet.
And if there's one thing I'm going to take with me is I'll never be able to listen to death metal the same way because I'm going to be thinking of the Cookie Monster from
exactly. You're welcome. Right on, guys.
Well, thank you again, Jesse. Happy Mother's Day to your mom and to all the moms out there. Especially the rock and roll rock and roll moms. They're the most forgiving. They understand that drummers are loud and guitar players are obsessive.
Yep.
Yes.
And wild. Everybody's wild and crazy.
Exactly.
She puts up with me.
Hey. Nothing but love in that family, we can tell. It's been an honor to spend time with all of you guys on the Spin. Happy Mother's Day. We'll be back next week with Vinny, one of your best friends.
Cool.
Yeah, this guy, Tim Ellison of the band The Nephews and the Niece.
Oh, yeah, I remember the Nephews.
And I just want to give a quick shout out and congratulations to Tim and the band. They are opening for Swami John Riss at the world famous Casbah on August.
Nice.
Oh, man. That's pretty much like you guys opening for Jawbreaker.
Yeah.
That's
right. Cool.
So, John was in, Drive Like Jehu, Rocket
Whoa.
Snakes. Yeah.
Oh, shit, yeah.
What an opportunity for Tim.
Yeah, very well deserved. And
Oh yeah.
let's not forget our man Greno's got a gig coming up. Tell us all
Yeah?
about that, brother.
Yeah,
Please.
Friday, Glass Parade's doing the debut performance, and that will be at Vultures in Colorado Springs. Shout out to my bandmates. And we're opening for the notorious Chuck Snow, who's kind of like the indie rock guru. He's turning 60 the day before the show. So, yeah, it's going to be a big night. If you're in Colorado Springs, come on out. It's going to be an all-ages show, too. So
I'll be right there.
bring your kids. And, nothing but the best. We really appreciate you guys. Thanks to Grooves Records in San Francisco, What's Left Records in Colorado Springs, and most importantly, you for watching the Sunday Spin. Oh, and Vinny, Coast to Coast, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Coast to Coast Entertainment. Thanks for making us part of your Sunday. Don't forget to listen to my man tomorrow night on the Groove Yard, right? Best show
That's
on
right.
the internet.
Tomorrow, I think we're doing New Music Monday, so tune in, 6 p.m., KCOSdigitalmedia.com. You are wonderful people. We love you, and we will see you guys next week. Jesse, all the best, my mother.
All right, you too, guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you.